Cammi Charms. Are you a witch?
If you're not someone that the church would have burned in 1500, are you even living your life? Of course I'm a witch.
Welcome to Worst Impressions. I'm your host, Eric Anderson, and I've got somebody I'm not too familiar with here today, Cammi Charms.
Hey, what's up?
So, why are you here today? It's just like, I'll leave it open. What are you bringing to the table?
I'd say a little bit of witchcraft and tales about the red-headed giants that used to roam the United States.
Why redhead? Why were they redheaded?
I don't know. It was a rabbit hole I went down.
I think we're gonna start with the redheaded giants.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's start from the beginning of this.
Right.
What are we talking about?
So there's a story about some military, it's like a military mission gone wrong in Kandahar, Afghanistan from the early 2000s.
Okay.
Where some special forces military men went missing, and so they sent some even more special ops in to find them.
Okay.
And they're in the remote regions of Kandahar, Afghanistan, which is like desert mountains, right in the middle of nowhere.
Sure.
So they come upon this cave, and out comes this like 12-foot tall, flaming red hair, red beard, like really, really intense red.
Was he handsome?
Giant. So the photo, or not the photos, because there's no photographic evidence, of course, but like.
Oh shit! No, okay, yeah, right. I was about to ask.
The descriptions say that they have 6 fingers and 2 rows of teeth. So I don't imagine that they look fantastic.
I don't know. You got a second row of teeth. I'm there for it. You can grind on my. Go on.
And allegedly, like, just speared this special forces guy, and so they had to regroup and like go after this random giant, right? That's in Kandahar, Afghanistan.
This is just one.
There's just one
at the time. Okay,
at the time,
got it.
And so going back to like the late 1800s, the early 1900s. There were these giants in America. They were finding these skeletons of people who were 8 and 9 feet tall that had this wild red hair, 2 rows of teeth, and 6 fingers. And it's sort of something that's just dissolved into history because no one wants to talk about how there used to be giants everywhere.
And you said, how tall?
We were giants.
How tall did you say they were?
So I think the skeletons that they found haven't been taller than 9 feet. But I think as you tell a story, it gets bigger.
Sure. So they were like 50 foot.
Yeah.
By now. At this time.
Definitely. Way taller now.
And how do they make it into America?
Man, there are lots of theories about that. So
it's like, lay it on me.
So they could be from the planet X that's supposed to be in our solar system.
All right, let me write that down here. We're going to circle back to that.
There are potentially aliens that messed with human DNA and spliced it with alien DNA.
They had sex.
I don't think it was sex.
Dude, I can't keep my hands off an
I
alien.
don't think it was sex.
I'm getting in there. I'm getting inside. I'm getting inside. Planet XXX, bro.
Planet Triple X.
Yes.
To make a race of slaves for like their home planet so that they could mine resources here on Earth to take back to their home planet.
Okay.
There's also some speculation that they were from like the giants of the Old Testament, like David and Goliath style giants.
Okay, so that I was like, yeah, where did that one come from? Okay.
That there were actually like a real race of beings that were giants.
Real giants. Yeah.
And then there's the story of the giants at Lovelock Cave, which is in Nevada.
Okay.
And they were hunted down by the Paiute tribe, which is a Native American tribe. They drove all of these giants into the cave and then set it on fire.
I find it okay. So these giants are they're fucking pussies. It sounds like they couldn't hold their own.
They couldn't hold their own.
They're just like
they got taken out by Native Americans. So
okay. So the theory is, wait, how did they get to America? I'm getting lost.
So
I'm getting lost.
There's lots of stories about them, right?
Okay.
So are they aliens?
Right. Are they aliens or
are they related to like
the David Goliath one?
The David and Goliath,
the Goliath
type giants? Or not David, but Goliath.
Sure, yeah.
Goliath type giants. There has to be somewhere in history where there actually was some sort of large being.
Yeah.
Right? That would spawn all of these stories. Not just like Dirk Nowitzki tall.
Sure. Yeah.
Ridiculously tall.
Yeah.
It also makes sense that they were just rogue Vikings.
Yeah, like who was Andre the Giant's mom? You know what I mean? It's got to be one of these.
Right? She's just Magda the Huge.
Yeah. So, yeah, because like Norse mythology has like a bunch of giants in there. So, and like the guy half Thor Bjornsson, the guy that played the mountain.
Right.
There was like 5 people that played the mountain, but he was the final one to play the mountain in Game of Thrones. He's huge. He's not, I don't know if he's 9. I don't know if he's 9 foot. And he's kind of got a little bit of a red. He's got a little red dusting,
So the Smithsonian got a lot of the bones from Lovelock Cave, where allegedly this race of people were exterminated.
Okay.
And apparently the Smithsonian is either they say that they don't know where they are.
Oh, not for 1 second do I trust the Smithsonian.
Or that no one could have access to them. And so there's all of this like speculation about what really happened. Were they really giants?
Are they all men, you think?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Big gay giants?
Big gay giants.
That sounds awesome. I got to.
They're soulless because they're gingers.
Oh, so is that true in your realm?
No.
They have multiple souls in your
they have multiple souls in my realm. The souls that they present to others, and then the deep darkness that breeds inside of them.
Right, and that's just you're saying that's just gingers.
Yeah.
So okay. All right. Now, what was the other thing? You were talking about the other thing besides the giants
was the witchcraft.
Was the witchcraft. Okay, so tell me about this. Is there certain schools of it? Is there a certain belief system, a practice system? Give me the foundation of it, because I'm completely outside of it. I'm an eager onlooker.
I would say that there are lots of different types of witchcraft and different ways of practicing. Specifically, I'm an atheist, so there's no spiritual admiration for any one particular being.
Okay,
in
right.
my type of practice, I don't ask for power from Jesus or Allah or Lilith or the Morgan or any of these other like names that you could throw out there that people might be familiar with regards to a
Yeah.
religious practice. For me, witchcraft is a way of life. It's a way of using my own energy, my life force
Yeah.
that's contained within me to bend the will of things around me.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So step one in bending the will. What's like the easiest thing to will to bend? Like what's
the will of a man.
Yeah, you throw some
You just
9-foot gingers in front of a guy. I mean, he's fucking crumbling. He's down to his knees. Yeah, so the will of a man, like I feel witches in, I guess, like in a modern, blah, 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 like modern media and movies and whatever.
Right.
It's very, you get a lot, like outside of like Harry Potter, you get a lot of like women, bending the
Right.
wills of men,
Right.
and cutting off their balls and like scooping out the semen and making
Right.
potions out of them. Is there any of that? Because I would love to be a part of that. I wouldn't want my balls to get taken off, but I'd drink some.
I bet there are definitely witches who use semen in their spells.
There's gotta be.
For sure. I mean,
Semen
it contains
spells.
like life essence in it.
Yeah.
So you would
Real
there
real
are lots of
potent.
things that can be spell components, and that would definitely be one of them.
Okay, are there like heavily sought after spell components? Besides, well, I guess semen is abundant. You can
pretty much
go
get
down
it.
to the Cefco, get yourself a jug of semen.
Your spell's only as good as the cum you put in it.
That's true.
I don't use seminal fluids in my witchcraft. So I practice green witchcraft, which is really using herbs.
Green
witchcraft.
Is that one word? Green.
I would say I'm a green witch.
Are there other color? Like it's like a color thing?
No, green is really more just a descriptor of your tie to the earth.
Okay.
Like
and is green more more earthy, like
more
plant?
earthbound.
Cool.
Right.
Sick.
Right.
Sick. So you're looking at barks and plants and roots.
Right. Crystals, minerals.
Oh, crystal. Okay.
Weather. Like I like to, anytime we get like a hailstorm, if I can, I'll go pick up hail outside and put it in a jar, and then I have hailstorm water. So if I want to use that water in a particular spell that's maybe like, I don't think of a spell as being violent, but if you're wanting to use a lot of power, there's a lot of power contained in that hailstone water. Yeah, it's very like esoteric knowledge.
Because I mean, it kind of you like the energy. I mean, I get my words would be like the energy of hail. It's a lot. It's a lot of energy.
Right. It destroys all the roofs.
Right. So if you had semen as hard and fast as a ball of hail, you get a strong semen potion.
I mean,
I'm just doing some math here. So traditional math does not work. Like,
it does not work. No,
it doesn't work. No. It doesn't work. So yeah, I got to get caught up on like the 2 + 2 equals of green witchcraft.
Right.
Okay. So you get hailstorm water. Then what?
So it depends. Like if I'm doing let's see. Hailstone water is probably a bad example because that's a very kind of like chaotic energy because of the nature of the storm. So one of the things that I do is I make smudges. You've probably heard of white sage before, seen people lighting sticks of things on fire and going around and blowing smoke in their house.
But I don't like what is sage? Like I don't know what it is. Okay.
So sage, specifically the white sage that people use, is actually a type of salvia. It is often attributed only to Native Americans in use
Okay.
because they have a ceremonial purpose for it.
Sure.
So instead of using white sage, I use other more native um, herbs and plants to make my smoke cleansing bundles. And when you're burning these different herbs, they are supposed to impart to you grounding, protection. They can be money drawing, they can be love drawing, depending on what you're burning.
Okay.
So I will gather local herbs and bind them all together and make smudges. And then I have a little side hustle called absinthe and kerosene.
Sorry. Absinthe and kerosene.
Absinthe and kerosene.
Follow it.
Yeah, follow me on Insta.
Instagram.
Yeah,
Absinthe and kerosene on Instagram.
I do.
I'll probably tag it so that way.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, with some clips or so that way listeners and viewers can find it. And so, sorry, go back. Smudges are the little bundles.
Right.
That's what that is called.
Yes,
Got it.
it's a smudge.
And
they
you
can
sell
also
them.
be called a smoke cleansing bundle.
Okay.
I make them and sell them. I do witches markets. I do other like big events in the Austin area.
That's sick.
Yeah, I'm looking to branch out to some bigger markets. I have one coming up in Houston in September.
Nice.
So yeah, it's a fun way to connect with other people who have similar belief systems to me. But within witchcraft, you definitely have people who are witches who pay homage to a certain deity. So maybe they are Satanist witch. So like they're into the satanic tenets.
Yeah.
They are following that path. You can also have people who are Christian who are witches. Those I don't feel like happen very often, quite honestly.
Right.
But there are people who believe in Jesus as one of their gods.
Interesting.
Then you can have like Norse witches, right? Who call
for
on
sure.
Thor and Odin and things like that to empower their spells.
Try to get into like trying to get to Valhalla a little bit.
Yeah, for
there.
sure.
Yeah. Okay.
You can have there's lots of Celtic mysticism.
Yeah.
In witchcraft. There are people who follow Lilith. So
the Lilith thing is Lilith is like it's definitely a buzzword for me,
right?
Mostly because of video games, like with Diablo specifically for the nerds out there. Lilith has always been like depicted as like being super hot,
right?
Is that a like are the witches that kind of
get in bed with Lilith?
Are those like if you're looking for like a like a witch that's down to clown, are you looking for the Lilith witches? Like is that like a certain tent? Like don't go into the Lilith tent, guys.
Man, the only tents I don't go to is the one where they're all naked.
Hold on. So there are tents you don't go to. Let's go down to the tents. The tents we ne'er go. We don't go to these tents.
I actually don't know if I know anyone who worships Lilith singularly in their practice.
But their tits worship
properly.
like they circle them with the sage and then those
right to Lilith.
Got it. I aimed up. I don't know where. I guess Lilith is down there.
I mean,
it depends.
Or all around.
That's true.
Or
all
on
around
your perception.
Or she's behind me with a strap on.
Yeah.
Go on.
She'd probably be into that too. So I am not really one that is great to speak on the deities that other people are involved with, just because I'm an atheist.
Okay, yeah.
Like my power comes from within and from without in the earth itself.
Feel free to you can generalize, but you don't, she's not speaking for you. She's just giving me some insight on what that's all about. Okay. The tents we don't go to. I'm not going to let that go.
So I went to a festival.
Okay.
A pagan festival.
A pagan
festival. And the pagan and witchcraft like Venn diagrams definitely overlap.
Hell
right?
yeah.
They're
Hell,
into
I
the
bet
same
they do.
things. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I went to a festival. It was a fire festival.
But not the fire festival.
No,
That
that was
was like a
huge.
giant catastrophe on that island
Yeah.
with all those rich kids
They
just got
must have
stranded
done
and
some spells
started
with hailstones.
Yeah.
Wrong.
Oh yeah,
wrong
dude.
spells.
Dude, someone was casting some spells and it backfired.
Did not know what they were doing.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I went to this pagan festival. It's a very big festival. And I was told it's a clothing optional festival.
Hell yeah.
You would think.
So what do we got?
People, I think about, hell yeah, I'm gonna go to this pagan festival.
Yeah, we're gonna see some titties.
where there's gonna be tits everywhere, and it's gonna be like, hell yeah.
I'll
right?
run my eyes over a couple of nut sacks too, just
Man,
like
so many nut sacks.
All right, yeah. Hell yeah. Got it.
So while I am very like cool with people being as free as they want to be as
Sure.
people, I discovered at that festival that I am not quite mature enough as a person
Yeah.
to not dissolve into an absolute puddle of laughter at a grown like 70-year-old man walking around a huge bonfire stark fucking naked.
Yeah, dude. And he's got several pieces of metal hanging in and around that urethra.
It's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I tend to stay away from the naked tents.
Dude, that's not me. I like it. You gotta tell me where these are. Okay, so
I mean, I'll tell you, you can go.
So what are they doing in these naked tents?
I don't know. I don't go in there.
All right.
I think they're just really existing naked around other people.
Cool.
Like it's just whenever somebody tells you that something is clothing optional, I don't feel like you always think about people being completely naked.
Yeah, it's complete.
It's more just like topless.
The idea in your head is different than in practice.
Right. And if someone you don't know, because it's a like loving, accepting atmosphere, right?
Mm-hmm.
If someone you don't know wants to run up to you and give you a hug,
yes,
and they don't have a shirt on,
sure. Yeah, I mean, you don't want some stray gooch on your forearm, like I've had this.
It's a lot. It was just a lot.
I've had a couple of buddies, put their stray gooches on my forearm, and like it scarred me for life. So, and I'm not saying if it's a nice gooch, go for it. But I mean, these are sweaty. These got to be sweaty. They're covered in flames. So, do they do any is there any group activities like is seance a thing? Like or
yeah,
no?
People do seances.
What is it? What is a seance for me? I wouldn't know how to say the definition of a seance.
I would say a seance is just attempt to contact the dead.
It's always the dead. It's not like we all want so and so's like car to break down.
No, I would say that would be more like group spell casting.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, or a group ritual.
Got it.
Even within like the festival that I went to, they definitely did rituals where everyone could get around and participate. Everyone like will partake of some of the sacred smoke from a sage, or not a sage bundle, but some sort of bundle that's being burned.
Yeah.
As they go around in a circle.
Just a puff pass type
situation for sure. But no inhaling. And
it's like what can happen if you inhale sage?
I mean, I guess if you don't have any demons in you, you should be fine. Not garden sage though; it really offends some people's.
What if I got a quick read? Do you think I got some demons?
Honestly, no.
I'm an empty shell. I'm just like
an empty husk of a man.
Yeah, like just like with something painted on for entertainment purposes.
I've always been really good at reading people, and I grew up in a haunted house, so I'm pretty sensitive to if someone has some shit on them.
Okay.
Yeah, I grew up in a very haunted house.
We are gonna circle back to that.
Okay.
Because that's awesome. Okay.
You think?
Yeah. What? Who obviously, if you can say, if it's somebody that's like that we know, like you don't have to say their last name, but like maybe even somebody in the media who clearly has like a legitimate demon, if you out of your read, or can you even tell through the lens of a camera and like a TV, or does it have to be in person?
So let me unpack that a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think I use the term demon pretty loosely.
Okay.
To mean like a dark sort of energy. I don't believe in actual demons as they are told in the Bible.
In Christian manner. The Christian sense of demon,
right?
Yeah. Like John Lovitz is a demon, but
for sure.
But he's not. Like
he's definitely not possessed.
Yeah, right. But he's not, he's not a Christian demon. That's just an imp, I would say.
He is very impish.
Okay, go on.
So I do think that there are people that are possessed of bad energy. That, I mean, there are some people that if I think that I could successfully pull off a death spell on them, I would do it.
Ooh, whoa. How far do you need to be? Like, is there a geographic like restriction on a death spell?
I haven't researched it that much.
That's something we need to know.
I'd be tempted.
Right.
Yeah.
And okay.
I can certainly feel if I come into a place that has negative or dark energy attached to it. I can absolutely feel that.
What about the studio?
Studio feels clean.
Fuck. It's like, damn it.
We can work on it.
Yes, I gotta get this. I gotta dirty this motherfucker up. I gotta get some criminals in here.
Yeah, I don't think there was anything terrible done in here.
So, what about like when you see, like, have you ever watched like a trial, like on TV?
Mm-hmm.
You get it through there, like. It's a little bit. I bet it's. I
feel like you have to be in the presence of the person.
Okay.
I do watch a ton of true crime because I love true crime, so I will sit down and watch trials. I mean, I think Casey Anthony has got some bad stuff.
Which one is the Casey? Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank on the Casey Anthony because my wife told me all about it. What is that one about?
Her daughter Kaylee disappeared from their house.
That's right.
And she blamed it on Zanny the nanny.
Yes.
Which was just the Xanax she was taking to forget about the fact she had a kid.
Yeah. So definitely some dark energy there.
I definitely
some
think
dark
there's
naturals
some darkness there. I think that she's dark enough that you can see it on her.
Really interesting.
Without being too like woo woo.
Yeah. So what? Yeah. So okay. So the woo woo-ness, where, because the line is blurred.
Right.
I would say.
Right.
Because I would say this like. Sometimes like you gotta like the woo woo-ness in some.
A little bit.
But then what is just, well, that's absurd. You know what I mean?
I don't ascribe to the idea that pets that there are ghost pets. There are some people who are really into the idea that when you lose an animal that you can later contact their ghost, like you would seance in a ghost cat. I do think that there is an energy that's left behind when an animal dies that dissipates quickly.
Okay.
Depending on how long any particular living being was in an area, I feel like energy really imprints upon some areas based on the amount of time something is there.
I would definitely agree with that. because there's definitely there's a vibe.
Right.
How do you like the word vibe?
It's fine.
It's fine, but
Yeah.
it doesn't work as well as energy.
I don't think it works as well as energy. I think that there is a lot of newcomers to the kind of witchy vibe that's out there
Yeah.
because it's a way for women to feel empowered. Not just women,
Sure,
but
sure.
largely women.
Yeah, yeah,
To
yeah.
feel empowered.
Especially with the word witch.
Right.
Now, okay, let's dive into the word witch. Do you consider an identifying man as a wizard, or are we all witch? Like, are you all witches?
I think that it's a personal choice.
Okay.
I think that there are people who would consider themselves priests, like witch priests.
Dude.
Or
But with no celibacy.
oh no.
yeah. We're getting some double D Liliths.
Yeah, for sure.
Nice.
I think that it's really so there's so many different levels and so many different groups that it's hard to really assign a particular role to any person.
Yeah, for sure. Okay.
So
Nice.
I think that you can be a witch regardless of what kind of genitals you have.
Cool. Because yeah, in Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling, she makes it clear. She makes it absolutely clear.
Yeah,
who is who. It's like you're a witch and you're a wizard,
right.
and there is nothing in
else.
between. So how do you? Okay, so were you into timeline? I guess like of you and growing up. How did Harry Potter play into how, like, do you like fuck Harry Potter or what?
No, I love Harry Potter.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I grew up with my mom practicing black witchcraft actually.
Okay.
She would do spells to harm others.
And is that what black witchcraft is predominantly doing? Harming?
In my opinion, I would say black or dark witchcraft, its intent is to cause harm to others.
Damn. Okay.
Whereas lots of times, specifically, I practice in protection magic.
Thank
So, instead of actively focusing energy to cause harm to others, I actively focus energy to protect myself from harm from others.
Hell yeah.
So that's the kind of like sentinel vibe that I bring.
Yeah, no, for sure. So do you have, I mean, you definitely don't have to, but do you have a story about like a black magic spell your mom did that went wrong or succeeded? Or
I mean, she ultimately died of cancer, so like
oh, okay.
I think
Sorry to
that
hear
stuff
that.
comes back.
You think that was connected?
I think that you can't focus so much negative energy onto people
Sure.
without absorbing some of that yourself.
Oh, dude, yeah.
But also, like, she worked in a chemical plant for 40 years. So,
So we're back to the like it's like the science, like
right.
we're toying with
right. But she would mix up a pot of water with a bunch of herbs. She had her boiling pot, and she would do boils. And she would write people's names down on a piece of paper,
yeah,
and put them into these pots of water and herbs that she would boil. And I would never really stick around about what she was saying
like, hey,
because I would just be like,
you can keep going with this. I'm gonna get the fuck out of
Yeah,
here.
exactly.
like I'm not gonna be here for the end of this.
Exactly.
That looks insane.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly. And I mean, there were people that ended up in the hospital, like with
what the
serious illnesses and things like that,
and
after she would boil their names.
And the timelines like work out.
Yeah, I mean, I was a teenager at the time, so like it's only as engaged as I wanted to be with it, you know?
Yeah.
But I asked her, you know, once like once I got into being involved in green witchcraft, I asked her, you know, about the things that she did, if she had learned them from anyone, and she
Okay.
said that she just like made it all up herself. So
Okay, so she was like, you know, she was playing with house rules kind of thing, like.
yeah. So I mean, the house that I grew up in was built in the early 1900s.
Okay.
It was part of a plantation. It was the parsonage, like on the plantation, so where the preacher lived and where they had church.
And you know that's a fucked up place,
Yeah.
place to be. That is
Yeah.
fucked up.
So I think that malintention combined with poisoned ground can definitely have a bad effect.
I mean, you're on a nuclear you're in a nuclear warhead right there.
And then, not to sound like, I don't know, not to be like one of those people, but also there was Native American burial ground.
Well, okay, sure.
So like in the back, like the back 8 feet of the property, you weren't allowed. It said in the deed to the property, like, don't dig below however many feet it was. And so my dad was pouring a driveway for the neighbors and they started digging up headstones.
Whoa.
And so it's like the poltergeist house.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I grew up with poltergeist activity.
Okay, so when you said haunted house, you're not talking about like a fun, like you're not talking about you grew up like working on. This is a literal
haunted house.
It's literally haunted.
Literal haunted.
And you didn't charge admission.
No, but I have thought about turning it into a haunted Airbnb.
You can still own it?
Yeah, my stepdad's still there.
Oh my God.
And running a haunted Airbnb would be awesome, but it would also be like a lot of work.
Be a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's a lot of protection spells.
Yeah.
Oh my fuck.
And I don't know if that's why I was drawn to protection energy.
Probably.
Is because like I was a on fire for Jesus Christian whenever I was younger. Like when I was like 10 to 15, because my neighbors were evangelical preachers.
Nice.
And so that didn't work.
Yeah, it didn't stick. It didn't, it didn't stick.
And it didn't work against the bad things that were in my house. And I'm not talking about like, this isn't like a story about how I was abused as a child or anything. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like it was, I could be the only person in my house at night. And someone would walk from one end of the house all the way through to the other end of the house. And it's like a shotgun style house, right? With like bedrooms off to the side, because they literally had church service right in the middle of the house because it was a parsonage.
Okay.
And so you could hear someone walk from one end to the other end, flush the toilet. You would hear the toilet flush.
Yeah.
And then hear someone walk upstairs.
Got it.
And like I had people who would stay with me, like when I was in high school, my friends would sleep over that would also hear it. Yeah. There would be times that I would come home and I would just walk inside and immediately like goosebumps and like the hair standing up on me. And I would just say, I can't be in here tonight. And I would leave.
Icy breath, like icy kind of like a cold, like it gets cold.
Not
when
cold
it's
spots. No, just like an electricity that I could feel as soon as I walked in.
Crazy.
Where I would feel like tightness in my chest, a little bit lightheaded. And those were the days that I didn't stay because I knew that I was going to see shadow people, that I was going to have night terrors.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Lilith Christ. Anyway,
Lilith Christ.
Okay. There's black, there's green. What else is there?
What other colors?
Yeah.
I mean, I would think that people would say that there's white magic.
Okay.
That maybe what I practice is white magic. I think that there's also sort of gray magic that straddles the line between being
you're a swing
protective
voter.
as opposed to being offensive.
Okay. Is there anything like super super active offensive, like a red, like a fire
Fire magic.
like fireballs. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm going to be honest. You're not gonna get me unless I get to do fireballs. I'm sorry. Like I'm gonna be honest.
It's the best spell. Such a good spell. Unless you have a DM that makes you roll saves for all of your equipment whenever you get hit by a fireball. It's garbage.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean there's tons of different ways to utilize. I think lots of times witchcraft just encompasses things that aren't mainstream.
Okay.
So it's sort of it's a bit contrarian to everything that's mainstream.
Got it. Interesting.
But I'm not an expert by any means.
Not an expert. Okay, so how would you where would you rank yourself? Kind of like are there ranks?
I'm sure there are.
Okay.
And more like I mean, I have friends that are in like covens, that are in witch covens.
Okay.
And
there's a hierarchy.
Yeah, there's definitely a hierarchy.
Okay.
For sure. I'm a solo practitioner. So,
okay, that makes sense. Makes sense.
Sometimes I have the need for church. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
On a particular, if there's a particular like time of year that I really vibe with, and I have a need for church, there are folks that I know who do large group rituals, and you can go and participate in their rituals, and it's a lot like church.
Yeah.
There's singing.
Ranch style beans.
Yeah, I mean, there's a potluck.
Coleslaw.
There's singing. There is, a lot of the folks that I affiliate with are Celtic pagans, and so there's lots of alcohol.
Nice.
Nice. And it's nice sometimes to have the camaraderie of people in those situations. And ultimately, it's everyone putting their good energy into a hyper-focused point.
Yeah, like one single, okay.
And then at the end of the ritual, they have like their sage, like the person who is the future predictor, throw out some runes and they read the runes.
Oh my God.
There's so much.
You're unlocking. Okay, so
there's so much.
All right, so runes. What can you tell me about runes?
Not much.
You ever had one? How do you get one?
A rune?
Yeah, this is like a rock with a thing on it, right? I'm talking.
Okay, so
I'm talking about
I can tell a little bit more than
video games. Like I'm just like it's like a rock with like a symbol on it.
So the symbol is the rune. So there's a runic alphabet.
That is official.
Yeah, it's called the Elder Futhark.
You got it.
Futhark.
Got it.
And so lots of folks that you see at the sort of like witches markets and things like that, they will read runes that are written on pieces of rock or pieces of wood and things like that, and kind of use them like dice, right? And throw out the rune stones and then tell you your future based on the rune stones.
Okay, yeah. Kind of like like that 1 gallon Pirates of the Caribbean that could like
Calypso? Is that
yes.
Calypso?
Okay. Yeah, Calypso. So then we get into that kind of gets me to oh no, what am I thinking of? The Louisiana, the Cajun,
like voodoo.
Voodoo. My God, I couldn't think of the word. You ever fuck with voodoo?
Mm-mm.
I feel like it's too scary.
I have learned a bit about different voodoo practices. I find them really interesting.
Yeah.
A lot of voodoo requires animal sacrifice, from what I've read.
Oh yeah,
and I'm not down with that.
Me neither. Yeah.
I think that you could probably substitute like menstrual blood, but yeah, I haven't delved too much into that. There's one guy who practiced Palo Mayombe, which is a blending of voodoo and like African magic. And he had a cult down in El Paso that killed was it El Paso? Is it El Paso or down on the? Is on the Mexico border in Texas.
Right.
Sean Astin is in a movie about it. It's called Borderlands. And I can't remember the name of the guy.
My guy, Sean Astin?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Borderlands.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I feel like voodoo really has like you have to be initiated into voodoo. I don't think you can legitimately pick up voodoo without some sort of initiation.
Okay. Got it.
But I'm not an expert.
Okay.
I'm an expert on like the small amount of things that I do to like make myself feel spiritual and connected to the earth with regards to witchcraft. But there's so much that I don't know about.
Right. Okay. So with all this being said, so what for those at home, what house in Harry Potter would you land in, you think?
I'm Slytherin.
For real?
For real.
Even with green, but the green, I mean, green witchcraft, it makes color wise makes sense, but I feel like people that do the black magic would be in Slytherin, right?
I think that Harry Potter makes all Slytherins out to be bad.
Yeah.
And I don't think that that's true. Bad. Harry Potter is a pain in the ass.
He really is.
As a person.
He's what we call just a bitch.
But Slytherins are about like pride, ambition, and power.
Okay.
And I definitely feel like those are the things that I want witchcraft to give me.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. I didn't even think about like that's what you want out of the practice. I understand. Yeah.
Right.
Am I saying practice? Or...
To some people, it's a practice. To some people, it's their religion. I'm not religious.
Okay.
There are some.
So what do you call it? Practice?
Just practice.
Cool.
Yeah. There are some people who are very religious with their witchcraft.
Right.
Like you have to devote this many hours a day to reading and, different. Like you have to be present at every new moon and every full moon, and I'm just not that strict.
Present at the moon, like is there gathering points?
Like at a ritual that's at a moon. Like you need to be there for the new moon ritual. You need to be there for the full moon ritual. You need to be there for, Yule goes to Christmas, right?
Okay.
Samhain is Halloween.
Samhain?
Yeah, it looks like Samhain. That you'll get made fun of if you call it Samhain.
Samhain.
Yeah.
Okay. Samhain.
There's a Beltane in May, which is like the celebration of spring. A lot of my knowledge about those particular, they're called Sabbats.
Sabbats
is hyper focused in Celtic mysticism because that's what my exposure has been to.
Okay. What movie or character in like mainstream media do you think best depicts like how it really is for you and things that people that practice the way you do? Because it's not Harry Potter, right?
No, I don't use a wand.
Right.
Although there is a wizarding school that I go to.
Really?
Yeah, and you have to use your wand for that. When
Okay.
You're there.
Okay.
It's.
Have you ever got a wand?
Yeah, I have a wand. I have a wand that I made actually that has my cat's whiskers and fur in the core.
What? I want one.
Yeah.
But I feel like I would use it for bad things.
I mean, you might. And then I have a wand that was gifted to me also.
Okay, but can you use that one? Can you use wands that are gifted to you?
I think so.
Okay. Can you dual wield, as they say?
Probably.
Like
you have the feet.
What do you mean the feet?
That sounds as deep.
I was like, is she talking about? I was like, or is she literally saying you have to hold the second one with your feet?
With your feet?
Yeah, I was like,
no, it's
maybe.
a straight up Dungeons and Dragons reference.
Are brooms just a movie thing?
I think that they are really just a aesthetic thing.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
I don't ride a broom. I have a
Interesting.
Honda Ridgeline.
That's sick.
The thing that's really sick about my Honda Ridgeline is that the plug for the hitch
Yeah.
is a picture of David Bowie from Labyrinth, the
Hell
Goblin
yeah.
King.
Hell yeah. Awesome. So what makes a spell versus like you're enchanting something, or versus like does it turn, like, is it not a spell if it's an attack on somebody? Is it not a spell if it's a protection, or is it all spells and then there's subsets of spells? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think that you could. There are some people who are very strict about spell casting.
Okay.
So in the practice that I follow, if I want to do formal spell casting, there are steps that you have to follow.
Right.
Opening a circle, getting your proper spell components, whether that be like herbs, crystals, water. You need to have your altar set up. You have offerings for the spirits, or to give in, I guess, like supplication, right?
Okay.
So that you're giving in order to receive.
Supplication.
And then
Okay.
you need to coordinate with the heavens, right? You need to
Okay.
make sure that the moon is in the right phase. You need to make sure that take note of the temperature, take note of what the weather is like. It's
Wow.
very involved.
Wow.
Very involved. It's definitely not like Wingardium Leviosa.
Right. Yeah. It's not, it's not just a couple of Latin words strung together. Okay.
No. And I think it's silly that it doesn't have to be Latin either. It's not like,
right.
I think it just sounds fancier.
It is fancy. Latin. It is fancy.
Nobody wants to hear just spells cast in Spanish.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, thank you for all of that information. Is there anything that you want to like share about all of that before we move on to like some sillier questions?
No, I'm good.
Because like that was very informative, awesome. Like, thank you for entertaining all of these questions and being open to share. That means a lot to the show and is awesome. So, the vegetables of the show, do you have an impression of a character, a person in your life, a celebrity, a customer in your line of work, or whatever that you love to mock or do an impression of, or like a saying you like to do?
I don't have any I'm not good at impressions.
No one is.
I do like to, one of the ones that I like to do is Linda from Bob's Burgers.
Yeah.
So she'll go, all right.
Hell yeah, dude.
I like that.
That's actually pretty good.
Thanks.
Because Linda's the mom, right?
The mom.
And she's voiced by a guy. I can't remember. Right?
I think the only one that's voiced by a girl is Louise.
Yeah. That's pretty good. All right. Hell yeah. Nice. Do you have a story about a bad first impression of something? Like the first time you went to Chili's, it was terrible. The first time you met this person, it was terrible, and it got better later, or it stayed terrible, or...
Oh my gosh, there's so many. I internet dating, man.
Yes.
That opens you up to a lot of bad first impressions.
A lot of bad energy flowing through the veins of internet dating.
I'm trying to think of a place that I went that I was sure that I would like that I absolutely didn't like.
Have you ever walked like, okay, going back to like the dark, the bad energy,
Right?
have you ever walked into a place and been like,
Hell no.
oh my God, like
For sure.
what?
I can't think of one off the top of my head, but there's definitely places that I can walk into and immediately get like kind of nauseous.
Yeah. Yeah.
And feel just not feel good and then feel that release upon exiting that place.
Do you think it has to do with like there was deaths there, or like it's just bad ill will people?
I think more of it is just bad people
Yeah.
doing bad things. And I feel like a lot of that, especially like in Central Texas, we have so much limestone. And I feel
Okay.
like that can really absorb energy
Really?
from the people that are around it.
Okay, so stones, okay. And it can harbor all of that energy.
I feel like it can. Yeah, in my opinion, it can.
Huh. That's scary. Because yeah,
Right?
it's everywhere. And
Yeah.
there's plenty of bad energy around Central Texas. Well, thank you, Cammi. This was an awesome episode. Actually, well, we're gonna ask because I gotta ask this one more question.
Okay.
So if you were, let's say, there was a battle royale,
Mm-hmm.
50 people, all ages 18 and up from all over the world, randomly selected to be in an arena fighting to the death. You got to be the last one alive. Okay. And you don't get any weapons that are ranged or projectile. So you have to have like a sword or like a shield or something of that nature. What are you going to choose? You get to choose any weapon, just not ranged or projectile, to fight and kill all of these other people and survive to be the last one standing.
A flail, like the Witch King of Angmar.
A flail? How big is the flail? Is it like a one-hander or two? Like a two. Huge one. That seems scary. Like I'm gonna hit myself with a flail. Are you gonna be like wildly aggressive?
Yes.
Okay. Sick, because I feel like you can't, like, flail energy.
You can't go lightly with a flail.
Flail energy, you can't be like hiding in the corner, just like,
no.
You got to be like, holy shit, because a lot of it is the fear factor of like people just like, holy shit, just like.
Plus, you have reach.
Yeah, you definitely have a good like a radius or whatever, but I feel like it's like, oh my God, what if it gets wrapped around something and it gets stuck, like the chain part?
Wrapped around what?
Like one of their weapons, because everybody else has a weapon too.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I just have a lot of faith in myself that I'm probably I'm stronger and more determined than that person is, and so they're gonna lose against me.
If you were given enough time, would you try to cast a protection spell as before you go in there?
I mean, I would definitely keep some kind of protective stone on me.
Oh,
or
stone.
like an amulet of some sort. Like,
Sick.
I always keep some sort of protective something on me.
Yeah, just always packing heat.
Yeah, I'm always packing
spiritual heat.
Spiritual heat, not the Bible.
Oh yeah, yes. Sick. Well, thank you for that answer.
Yeah.
That's an interesting answer. We'll have to compare it to someone else we just had.
I would like a flail and a cleaver if I could do two.
You could have two. You could definitely have two. You just can't, it can't be like, two guns,
Yeah, no.
So
like a flail and a really large cleaver.
Oh my God. You want to chop someone. Like with a cleaver, you're saying, I want to hold them down and chop them off. All right. All right.
Stay on my good side.
Yes. Well, thank you, Cammi, for
You're
coming
welcome.
on the show.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a real honor to like talk to you. I've learned so much, and I hope you had fun, and I hope you want to come back and we can talk some more, and I can just keep learning, and everybody can learn some stuff. And don't forget, everybody listening at home, watching at home, to follow and like and rate and subscribe to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube now, of course, and join the Patreon Worst Impressions with Eric Anderson. And you can join the Discord on there. As soon as you become a patron, you get an invite to the private Discord where we have a lot of fun talking and just coming up with new ideas for the show, all kinds of stuff. So, and you can also, the Patreon is just a great way to support as we grow the show and move forward. So thank you for lending your time to us here, Cammi, and I hope we'll see you again.
Yeah, I hope to come back.
All right. Don't forget to spay and neuter your pets, and good night.
Shut up.